everybody. Tonight we had the honor of unveiling a piece of artwork which has been gifted to the town of Woodbury. The art was made by Robert Brewer. When you first walk in, and you can notice it is right outside in the front entryway, it is beautiful wood carving that Robert Brewer did back in 2002. So we had it today, and we thank him so much for donating this. It is an historical picture from, was it 1949, of our downtown area in Woodbury. So thank you, Robert. And like I said before, we have some desserts up here. So after the meeting, if people would like to come up and get some, Sandy made them. We don't believe her, but they're so beautiful. I'm just kidding, Sandy. We've all had your wonderful desserts. So with that, good evening. Before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, let's take a moment of silence for the lives lost in the Texas flooding, for the missing people, for the souls of the deceased, and due to this horrific tragedy. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome to the town board meeting this Thursday evening, July 17, 2025. For those who are visiting with us for the first time, I'd like to introduce the board and the town clerk. Present here tonight, we have Council Member Brandon Clory. Next to him is Council Member Sandra Capriglione. In the middle is Council Member Kelly Rinaldi, and next to her is Deputy Supervisor Teresa Belanco. To my right is Town Clerk Nicole Young. I'm Kate Luciani, the Town Supervisor, and thank you everybody for attending the town board meeting tonight. We'll open the floor for public comments on agenda items only. Can I start with the first row? Row after that? Next row.
Hello. That's Zoomis.
Hello.
That's Zoomis. Hi. So I'm just here. I don't know if you guys watched the planning board meeting last night. So the St. Pat's building was on the planning board agenda, and if you don't know, they changed the request for the 2-lot subdivision. It was going to be residential for the rectory and municipal for the parish building. They're keeping it education building. Having said that, I bring it up, if the town is interested in purchasing it, now is the time to get on it. Now, I did see that you have these sterling appraisals on the agenda. I don't know if that's something that you're approving tonight. I know it's for discussion. So I stand here to say that as a resident, it would behoove us to sign it. I see that it was from May, so I'm imagining that the diocese or St. Pat's Sacred Heart changed their mind because nobody's showing interest. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Maybe you are, but like I said, I'm here to say please show interest because if it stays education building and then you want it, you're gonna have to go and get changes done and yada yada. It's gonna take longer. In the meantime, someone else could come in and purchase it. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Beth. I just want to let you know that I did hear things about the planning board meeting. There's a lot of rumors going around, so I actually called Courtney today, who I've been speaking to like this entire time to go through
Is she
this
from the
process.
diocese?
Yes.
Okay.
And she told me that she talked with the father, and he felt that everything moved in a positive manner. She didn't say anything about it staying this way. This was our intention. This is our intention, which is why we have the appraisal on there, because we are interested in making it a municipal building. So we definitely have interest. She knows that. We're gonna sign this. And
But something's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing's on the wall. That's all I'm just saying. I mean, you know, we all can see what took place. So I'm just so good. I'm glad to hear that actually.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to. If I didn't say something, and for some reason you weren't approving the appraisal and you weren't going forward, then I have myself to blame. So I
Yeah.
wanted to say
No.
something.
There were some other bumps, I guess, the last time when they had the planning board meeting. I guess they were told by couldn't be a municipal building, which was, that was not told to us when we first talked about purchasing it. And then they went to the planning board, other things came up, we might have to change certain zones, but we are very interested, they know that. And like I said, I talked to her today, and she said, from what I heard, everything went positive, so we're still going forward with this.
Okay, then maybe you can have a conversation with them to go back to the request to change it to municipal. That would give me a little sigh of relief. Thank you.
I think all of us. Thank you. Anybody else in the next row?
Jacqueline Hernandez, Highland Mills. On your agenda for today, you have the scheduled public hearing for introductory law 3 for noise ordinance. I'm really happy to see that this is being put into effect. I did have a question for enforcement. Being that after reading it, it's very vague, and I wanted to kind of just get some clarification from this. You state here that anyone who believes this chapter has been violated, which it's pretty comprehensive, they may contact the building department, the code enforcement, the town of Woodbury Police, or any other official designated by the town board. So I know the building department and code enforcement would be under the village. Has there been any conversations with the village for enforcement of this?
So the village actually has a noise ordinance right now, and their building departments are the ones who can handle this. This is why we're adopting it through here, because a lot of times when these calls come in, it's at night. So our police department's there, the building department's not there. So this is our way of being able to handle it when things happen at night, that our police department then can be the ones to.
So will there be guidance for the public to know exactly who to contact and the time frames to contact? Because I think in that language, for a resident who's not familiar with times and when people have different schedules, there needs to be a little more clarification as to where the residents would contact. Because I know that there are residents that complain about noises, at different times of the week, especially towards the weekends, and many times it's confusing as to who to contact. And normally it's always been the village, but I think now with the town adopting this, there needs to be clarification when the town would be the person involved versus the village. So, thank you.
I think typically when noise ordinance things come in, it goes to the police department either way. And then a lot of times the police department will then, if it's a barking dog, things like that, they'll tell them what to do, or potentially the building department. So a lot of the calls do go to the police department.
Right.
So this is a way to be able to have our police department handle it.
Okay, so like I said, it's just clarification as to who would be responsible, because I know when I was in office, it's always a confusing thing to sit down and ask, well, I call the village, well, that's not our job, call the town, So I just would say, if you want to make this a little more clear, that might be helpful for the residents.
Thank you.
Can I try to?
Oh, yeah.
It gives the option of choosing, so either one would be effective if you call during the day. Obviously, if the building department's closed, you go to the PD, you can go to the PD during the day. They will redirect you if you're calling the wrong department. That being, thank you. That being said, due to the unique nature of the way the town and the village are set up geographically, it has to mirror the village law. It cannot be more restrictive, or because they're in the same confines. So I've spoken with Attorney Naughton. We've also reviewed the law. I know that this authorizes the chief now, because even if the law's on the books in the village and it says the PD, they're not authorized without it being on the books in the town. So it's somewhat of a procedural
No, it makes
restraint.
total sense, yeah.
So if you, reading it the way I read it, you may contact the building department, code enforcement, town of Woodbury, and any other. So you really can't go wrong. You might have make a second call. The building department's closed to the PD. I think it's always safest to call the PD first, because they can kind of, they're the ones receiving most of the calls, so they know where to redirect them. So
Right.
That would be my suggestion. I don't know how to write it differently. I can see if the village would then have to change their law to match whatever we change on. This is our old, when I say our, the town's old law, which was removed once the village was incorporated, because it became duplicitous.
Yeah, because normally the village would be the one enforcing it, so that's, and again, I think a lot of these issues were brought up back then because the police department really can't enforce certain things that's on village, under the village, et cetera. So again, that's why I say clarification, because I wanted to be clear on exactly what type of enforcement would be allowed, and if enforcement is, this blank doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But, if enforcement, if you're talking about enforcement, what is the type of enforcement, and will both
They-
municipalities be able to enforce in the same manner?
Yes. The building department's in the village, so they would be handling it. Ideally, they're handling it when they're available to handle it, which, again, the purpose of it coming and being on the books in the town is generated from the off-hours situations where the building department isn't operating.
So that's
right?
what I'm saying, that would be helpful.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is right now it gave an option, and I think, that's the best way I can't do anything with it because I'm restricted by the village's law. So it's getting something on the books, and then as it plays out, maybe mutually adopting an edit to the law where there can be more clarity.
I mean, in all honesty, that would have been the ideal thing, right? The
Well-
town and the village coming together and creating an ordinance in which they specify specifically what the enforcement, because for me, this is my issue, is that if you have a situation in the community that's going on, and that's a limited time that's happening, by the time I call the village and then I call the town.
So I would suggest calling the town of Woodbury Police. That's a 24/7 option for you.
Right, but if it's during the day and the village is open, they're gonna say you have to call the village. Just clarity, that's really all I'm asking, thank you.
I'm kind of, it doesn't sound like you're telling me, because I don't know what, I can't do anything. I encourage you to go to the village board meeting and suggest the same thing, because it's generated off of them. I have to react off of them. So I wanted to get something on the books so the chief could do something off hours, and then as it plays out, maybe there'll be the ability to go back. But to get both of them to do it, we would have been dragging even longer. So it's kind of like get it on the books, so we have something, and then perfect it, if you will. I wasn't trying to dismiss your suggestion.
To me, I just think it's, and I don't mean to talk on one, I just think if you just do one solid
Yeah.
document, it eliminates confusion.
I wish laws were that easy, but it's unfortunately in this geography, it's very tricky. So I appreciate the suggestions, and I'll relay it back to Ms. Naughton.
Thank you. Anybody else in the next row? Now we'll move on to administrative business. Acceptance of minutes. Can I have a motion and a second to accept the receipt of the minutes of the administrative town board meeting held on June 26, 2025?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next is approval of abstract 13. Nicole, can you please read the abstract for this meeting? Sorry.
Abstract 13 containing vouchers 251153 through 211297 totaling $409,953.72.
Thank you, Nicole. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the abstract 13 as read?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next is modifications to the 2025 budget. Nicole, can you please read the modifications submitted for the 2025 budget as prepared for this meeting?
Animal control, we are increasing A 3510.431 vet fees medications by 1,500, A 3510.406 cleaning supplies by 500, A 3510.411 office supplies by 250, and decreasing A 3510.480 vaccinations by 1,500, A 3510.200 control equipment by 750. For the Board of Assessment, we are increasing A 1470.400 board by $28.39 and decreasing A 1355.411 assessor office supplies by $28.39. For buildings and grounds, we are increasing A 1620.425 landscaping by $2,000 and decreasing A 162451, tree maintenance by 2,000.
Thank you, Nicole. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the modifications to the 2025 budget as read and explained?
Motion.
Second. Who's second? Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next is the acceptance of retirement for E. Hardin. Can I have a motion and a second to accept with regret the retirement of Sergeant Eric Hardin, effective at the end of the day, Monday, July 28, 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Town,
And me.
the town board and I wish Sergeant Hardin all the best with his retirement. I need to make a correction, that was actually July 29th of 2025. Next is the acceptance of resignation from the Parks Committee, Michelle Lopez. Can I have a motion and a second to accept with regret the resignation of Michelle Lopez from the Parks and Recreation Committee, effective July 9th, 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. And I want to say thank you to Michelle for all of her contributions and support. Next is the appointment of a full-time ABCO, A. Romero Martinez. Can I have a motion and a second to appoint Angela Romero Martinez at the up-state hourly rate of $20.6708 to a full-time position from the current 29 hours to 40 hours a week, effective on July 21st, 2025? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next, we move on to old business, to schedule a public hearing for the noise ordinance. Can I have a motion and a second to have Nicole Young, town clerk, schedule a public hearing for the introductory local law number 3 noise ordinance to be held on August 7th, 2025 at 6:30?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. New business, authorize the supervisor to sign the Sterling appraisals. Can I have a motion and a second to authorize myself to sign the Sterling appraisal proposal submitted in the amount of $3,250 for the purpose of preparing a narrative appraisal for the property located at 26 Hunter Street?
Motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next is adoption of the camera policy. Nicole, can you please read the resolution as written?
We're just gonna read the top portion of the resolution. So it is to adopt the camera policy on the use of the security cameras at various town locations. This policy statement is issued by the town of Woodbury to notify the public of the use of security camera systems, CCTV, which are installed at various town of Woodbury locations.
Can I have a motion, a second, to adopt the camera policy Town Clerk Young just read and prepared for Woodbury Legal Counsel for the purpose of notifying the public to use the security camera systems installed at various town?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Cory?
Aye.
Councilmember Corleone? Aye. Councilmember Rinaldi? Aye. Councilmember Luongo? Aye. Supervisor Luciani?
Aye. Thank you. Next is to authorize the town clerk to advertise for bids for the courthouse paving. Can I have a motion and a second to authorize the town clerk to advertise in the Times Herald Record for bid for proposals on the courthouse paving project?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Please note when submitting any bids, they must be in a sealed envelope that can either be hand-delivered to the town clerk's office at 615 State Route 32 or mailed to P.O. Box 1004, Highland Mills, New York, 10930, and must be received by 2 p.m. on August 5th, 2025. Next, we have authorized the supervisor to sign the secret resolution to the Ridge Road Bridge. Nicole, can you please read the secret resolution?
whereas the Town of Woodbury Town Board has reviewed the design documents prepared for the design and construction of the Ridge Road Bridge, the proposed action or project. And whereas the construction of the project is funded by a Bridge New York grant, and whereas project is located across in the town's right-of-way on Ridge Road and County Route 105, the subject property or site. And whereas the town board has reviewed a short environmental assessment form, the EAF, for the project dated June 6, 2023, with part 1 completed by the town engineer. And whereas Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, of Environmental Conservation Law, and 6 NYCRR Part 613.3A requires that no agency shall carry out, fund, or approve an action until it's compiled with the requirements of SECRA. And whereas the Town of Woodbury Town Board has conducted an uncoordinated review of the action and independently considered the information provided in the EAF, as well as other documents prepared in support of the project, and comments from members of the public in its environmental review of the project. And whereas the Town of Woodbury Town Board has directed its consultants to prepare parts 2 and 3 of the EAF for consideration at its July 17th meeting. Now therefore be it resolved as followed: the Town Board hereby adopts and incorporates the recitations and statements set forth above as it is fully set forth and resolved herein. Be it further resolved that the Town of Woodbury Town Board hereby determines that the proposed action constitutes an action that is subject to SECRA, and the proposed action is appropriately classified as an unlisted action. And be it further resolved that the Town Board hereby reaffirms its declaration of lead agency with respect to SECRA review of the project. And be it further resolved that based upon its review of the project, documents submitted in support of the project, the EAF, and the comparison of the project with criteria for determining significance found at 6 NYCRR Part 617.7C, the Town Board hereby finds that the proposed action constitutes an action which will not have significant impact on the environment, and therefore does not require preparation of a draft environmental impact statement. And be it further resolved that this determination of significance shall be considered a negative declaration made pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, and the Town Board hereby adopts and incorporates the findings set forth in the determination of non-significant contained in parts 2 and 3 of the EAF dated July 17, 2025, as it fully set forth and resolved herein. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to file any and all appropriate notices so that the intent of this resolution is carried out.
Thank you, Nicole. Could you read that again? I think
Thank you, Jason.
Can I have a motion and a second to authorize myself to sign the secret resolution submitted by our town engineer, Jason Pantgaro, and read by our town clerk, Nicole Young?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Now can we do a roll call?
Councilmember Clory?
Aye.
Councilmember Capriglione? Aye. Councilmember Rinaldi?
Aye.
Councilmember Luongo? Aye. Supervisor Luciani?
Aye. Thank you. Now authorize supervisor to sign the firearms training facility revocable license. Can I have a motion and a second to authorize myself to sign the 2025 firearms training facility revocable license agreement between the County of Orange, the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and the Town of Woodbury with the term of January 1st of 2025 through December 31st of 2027.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Now to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement with Orange County Internship. Can I have a motion and a second to authorize myself to sign the agreement between Orange County and the Town of Woodbury to potentially take part in the county's internship paid program covering July 7, 2025 through August 22nd, 2025.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Now we move on to department reports and committee minutes. First is the supervisor report for May 2025, which is submitted by Nicole. Nicole, please read the supervisor's report for May 2025.
May supervisor's report with receipts totaling $551,315.90 and disbursements totaling $1,485,329.37.
Thank you, Nicole. Can I have a motion and a second to accept the May 2025 supervisor's report as read?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Supervisor's report for June 2025 was submitted. Nicole, please read the supervisor's report for June 2025.
The June supervisor's report has receipts totaling $444,840.96 and disbursements totaling $1,646,674.54.
Thank you, Nicole. Can I have a motion and a second to accept the June 2025 supervisor's report as read?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. And for the months of May and June 2025, we received additional reports submitted by the town departments and committees as follows. The town clerk's report, May and June 2025. Animal control report, May and June 2025. Police communications report, May and June 2025. Building and grounds report, May and June 2025. Parks and Recreation Committee minutes for May 20th, 2025. There was no June meeting. Library Director's report for May and June of 2025. The Library Board minutes for May 27, 2025, and for the June 3rd and June 13th special Zoom meetings. Beautification Committee minutes from June 12th. There's no beautification meeting in May. The budget versus actual of May and June of 2025. Now we'll go to public comments. Does anybody from the public have anything they would like to say? We'll start with the first round.
Hi, I'm Martha Lopez, a High Mills resident. I'm here tonight not just as a resident, but as a mother, a neighbor, and someone who expects better when it comes to the safety of our community's children. 2 weeks ago, a man was arrested in one of our town parks for a lewd act. While camp was in session, and while the park was open to the public. Even more alarming, this individual was in an area frequently used by kids walking from Brigadoon to access the park. Despite the seriousness of this incident, no communication was sent to alert staff or inform families. Parents were not given the opportunity to speak with their children, to empower them with awareness, caution, or tools needed to protect themselves. That decision to remain silent stripped parents of their rights to respond and prepare their children. The assumption that he didn't interact with kids is not enough. It does not eliminate risk. It does not uphold safety. It only serves to downplay a situation that demanded urgency, transparency, and leadership. Even more troubling, I've seen no signs that any steps have been taken since. Have safety protocols been updated? Has the security team been briefed? Were park gatekeepers given descriptions and the name of the offender? Has there been discussions about increased patrols or restricting park access during camp hours? Sadly, I believe the answer is no. Yes, the man's park pass has been suspended at the request of a particular person, pending the outcome of this case. But without communication to staff or a clear safety response, that action means very little. Is this how future incidents will be handled by the board? Now let me be clear. There needs to be a written policy, one that outlines how incidents of this nature, please don't laugh, because this is not funny.
I wasn't laughing, I was wondering why, what
Okay,
is going on.
okay, well, this is not funny,
I
okay?
don't find it funny, Martha.
We need to protect the children of our community.
Hold on a second,
I'm trying to shut you off.
okay?
Okay.
That was what was going on, so just,
Let me be very clear. There needs to be a clear written policy, one that outlines how incidents of this nature are communicated and addressed, from staff protocols to timely direct communication with parents. Because parents shouldn't be learning about this from arrest logs or public comments at a board meeting. They should hear it from you, from the board. That's where they should be hearing it from their town board, and they should hear it immediately as soon as it happens. We were fortunate that this individual didn't come into direct contact with children or one of our young staff members. But good fortune is not a safety strategy. So tonight, I'm asking this board to commit to creating and implementing a clear, transparent protocol that protects our children, supports our staff, and builds the trust our community deserves. Because when it comes to child safety, silence is not an option, and luck is never enough to keep our children safe. Thank you.
Just gonna note that I've advised the board to not comment on anything related to that as there is an open investigation.
Right, that's for the police. The town board should be making a comment.
I was just advising that your time is done, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything?
Hi, good evening. My name is Jen Gargiulo. I'm village trustee in Highland Falls, New York. I'm here visiting all our town boards in the district and neighboring communities to try to foster intercommunity relations. We all have the same issues in each and every one of our towns and villages, and we all have a lot of things going on. But our smaller communities are really what build our nation, and it's time that we come together and really work together and share resources. So that's why I'm here, just to say hello, and you'll see me around.
Hi, Jen. Good to see you.
Jen,
Anybody
I
else?
hope you count your support for the public lunch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, did I say it?
Don't die. Anybody else in that room?
Good evening, Joanne Flory, Highland Mills. I just wanted to say thank you to the board for, again, unveiling the Bob Brewer carving. It's just beautiful, and I'm so glad that it has now a place here so that everybody can enjoy it and everything, so thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Joanna, for bringing it to our attention that you had it and speaking with Bob and getting it donated to the town, so I appreciate it. It's another beautiful legacy that we will have here in this, courthouse, so I appreciate it, thank you.
Have my
Anybody,
small-
anybody in the next row?
Janine Cortese, Woodbury resident. During the June 5th town board meeting, I was recording with my cell phone, which, according to open meetings law, explicitly grants me this right. While recording, the town attorney waved at me and instructed me to stop recording. I would like to know on what legal grounds is it appropriate for a town attorney to prohibit a resident from recording. Later that evening, per his request, I sent an email asking the question directly. However, it has been well over a month with no response. Can I assume you're still researching, trying to find grounds for violating the open meetings law?
Sure.
So you don't have an answer?
My answer is that when the audience members distract and the basic decorum is lost, that there are rights to restrict, including, I'm sorry, do you want the answer?
Well, I'm telling you, I wasn't speaking or
I
disrupting
understand.
anything.
When you're waving a cell phone around at people, including pointing it at me, and then I waved to you and you say, and I said, please stop, and you said, I'm not recording. Do you remember that
No,
part?
I didn't say I
Oh,
wasn't
you-
recording. I
okay.
said I was recording the person up here.
All right.
I
So
have you on
this is,
phone.
that's great. You have it recorded.
I do.
That's great. So when it distracts from what is supposed to go on here, and it has no, let me ask you, there's a video camera, right? Recording this meeting.
Why I record is none of your business.
No,
I'm
I-
allowed to record.
I understand.
And you
But
don't
you're
have the
not even
right
wait-
to
you
tell
don't-
me not to record.
I do have the right to tell you if it's just.
No, you don't. Open meetings
Okay.
law. Okay, I'm done. My next-
Thank you. When you come up and you ask a question, but you have no intention of listening to
Well,
the
I
answer.
sent you an email.
I know, but,
Waiting for a response, as you said during your last meeting to Mr. Vern Galbraith.
okay, so I'm giving you a response. You don't want to hear it.
You didn't give me. a
I'm
response.
giving it to you right now. You don't want to hear it. Just like the other gentleman who came up and was talking very boisterous, very loud. I do have a right to restrict public comment. If it's not serving the public
You don't
good,
have a right to restrict the public from recording.
yes, I do.
No, you don't.
If you're waving your camera
I'm
around and
not
you're,
waiting. I was sitting there perfectly
Ma'am.
still recording.
ma'am, we're going to agree to disagree. You don't like my answer because it doesn't fit what you wanted to hear.
That's not true.
That is absolutely true.
I don't like your answer because it's not legal.
Okay, then I guess you have to take it up, go get a lawyer.
I would also like to address
That's-
Supervisor Luciani. While I appreciate your Facebook post about the difficulties of being a single mother having to mow a lawn, I would have preferred a post informing the residents of Woodbury about the burglaries that transpired early morning on June 21st. Many residents were impacted, and once again, your lack of leadership prevails. While I understand this is probably an ongoing investigation and the police cannot comment, as a supervisor, I would, at the very least, expect for you to alert residents of any potential danger. I have noticed a clear pattern of you not addressing serious issues that impact the safety and residents of this community. In September 2024, there was a manhunt for a fugitive in Highland Mills, and at no point did you make a statement, alert the community, or warn anyone. As supervisor, it is your responsibility to lead our community and ensure the safety and well-being of all residents. You're quick to post photo ops, but silent when leadership is most needed. Thank you.
Thank you, and just to let you know, I am a supervisor of the town, but I have a police department that runs under me. And I come from a family of law enforcement, and I believe in my police department to put out their press releases
Did you make a statement?
for them to put out what they need for the community. And when the thing happened with the manhunt, we put out a code red. So I do handle things as a town supervisor, but I'm not gonna do police business, because guess what? I didn't go to school to become a police
No, but
officer.
you're the supervisor.
They have their job,
And you're
and that's what
posting
they
about
do.
nonsense on Facebook.
Not
when
posting
there's
about
serious
nonsense.
issues going on in the community.
Thank you for your comment.
The board has been advised multiple times when it comes to either active investigations or things like were brought up just earlier, to not comment on them, to allow them to take their course, allow the individual to have the same due process that you're demanding. Okay, there's a process, we have a police department, the statements go out through them. That's the procedure.
Okay, well,
All right.
there's people running
You don't like the
around
procedure, that's
breaking
fine.
into- Well,
That's-
when people are breaking into cars and I have bring videos of it,
Okay.
it's
Well,
smart
the video
to be
came in
able
use
to-
then. We'll turn it over to the police.
I did.
Okay, that's part of the process, but that's not.
other residents may want to be alerted of this so they can protect their possessions and their.
Okay,
health.
they were alerted of it. There was a code red.
Martha,
Can I
you,
go back and
Martha,
ask you a question regarding what you just stated?
Martha, you already spoke, and we're going through the
Can I
facts.
ask you a question?
It seems
So-
like you're going
no,
to, it
no,
seems
no,
like, hold on,
because-
this is not how this
You're making a
works,
comment-
ma'am.
You're making a comment.
Ma'am, this is not
about-
how the-
He just made a comment that he should not notify, that you should not have notified
Did I say you
families
should
of
notify?
a man that
You don't
had a
talk
lewd
out.
act.
This is decorum.
Sorry,
This
but
is a type of stuff that gets
We don't
removed.
talk
What's
out loud.
unacceptable, what's
Other
unacceptable
people
is
get
you
This
saying
type of
that
behavior is
she, that
unacceptable.
her as a
This is
supervisor
unacceptable.
should not notify the community.
Chief, I'm gonna
That's
ask-
unacceptable.
you're about to be removed.
These are children.
Don't you dare talk to her like that.
I would like to.
These are children. These are families.
To go into attorney.
Children and families, okay? And for her to sit up there and laugh, and then you say that she shouldn't notify anybody, that's terrible.
I think you need to get yourself. Make a motion.
Yes,
All right.
I've got it under control, Rory.